Hashtag new and better than ever.
Alright, I'm back. Yep, on the airways. Alright, so I'm gonna play the whole video. I'm gonna play what he said, the mayor said about all of this. Alright, keep it tuned right here. It's about 5RB for LA.
A new moment in wireless has begun. T-Mobile and Sprint are joining forces. By bringing together our two networks, T-Mobile will build America's largest and most reliable 5G network. With more towers, more engineers, and more coverage, you'll get the best 5G network and the best prices. Welcome to T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network.
Right now we have Mayor Eric Garcetti with us tonight as well. Mr. Mayor, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Thank you, Mark.
All right, Your Honor, as you watch what is going on, you've declared a citywide curfew. Your chief of police has said he's not sure that he can guarantee things won't get worse overnight. Are you in a position now where you think the National Guard should be called in?
Yes, I've asked for the governor to send the National Guard. I believe the County of Los Angeles, the sheriff has as well, merely to hold positions. But this is no longer protest. This is destruction. This is clear vandalism, and everybody's in danger. The protesters are police officers and peace officers who are on the front line. And for the interest of public safety, people need to stay at home. People need to remain at home during this curfew so that we can know that folks that are out during the curfew are out to cause trouble. And it's been clear that at a very righteous moment, when people rightfully so have not only looked at the act of insidious racism that took George Floyd's life, but the continuing structural racism that infects this country, that this is changing the conversation from the justice that is deserved to suddenly the destruction of a city that we love. We cannot tolerate that. That is not the way we can protect lives. Last night downtown, we had shots fired. In other cities, that has killed protesters from, by the way, not police, but from other folks that are there. There are folks that want to exploit this, use this, burn businesses that are already barely surviving. There should have been a weekend of opening in our fight against COVID-19. So we're going to be very clear that this curfew is for everybody. Everybody who's out right now should go home. Everybody should stay at home. And then those who are still out, we will use the resources we have to tell them to go home. And if they don't, to make necessary arrests. There's clearly people who are out to destroy not only parts of our city, but to destroy any hope of a coalition that would bring us together to get justice for George Floyd.
And with the entire LAPD mobilized, do you think they have the resources, the manpower to survive a couple days of this, perhaps? Who knows when this will end?
We've got incredibly brave people, on the line that are there. And we've got incredibly brave and upset people who have been expressing their views. But right now we're seeing those crowds thinning, and the people who are staying out are clearly out to destroy property, set fires. Downtown, we could have lost a building and killed people. Our firefighters don't have access. We saw bottles and bricks and concrete and iron hit our officers, caused them to have concussions. These are officers who probably saved people's lives in domestic violence situations, who have mentored young people, officers who have done so much to serve us. And we should always demand more and better policing, and we should always speak out against this sort of incredibly racist and incredibly heartbreaking actions we saw in Minneapolis and demand justice. But when that happens in Minneapolis, the 4 officers to take it out on the streets of our city is setting us all backwards. So we will not only have our LAPD officers, we have mutual aid with other agencies around us, and if they need our support and we need theirs, we can call on that. And I've asked the governor to bring as well to Los Angeles, and I know the county has 500 of our National Guard to help us supplement and keep that peace tonight.
Troops be on station?
I don't know. I think the governor said it's probably about a 7-hour mobilization minimum. And, we're seeing in Oakland, and of course, this is in cities across the country. We've seen full curfews in Denver and Atlanta. We've seen them in Louisville, and we've seen them in Seattle and Portland, multiple cities, where clearly there are some who are seeking to exploit a tragic moment when we move forward without justice and to change that. It makes me wonder whether some people want this to be the image so that we take away from the work necessary to hold the killers of George Floyd accountable. Let us not be distracted, let us not be deterred, but let us be clear. We cannot stand by when our city burns. We've been through this before, and we will not. So we will continue to protect people's peaceful rights to protest. But this is not peaceful.
And I can hear the weariness in your voice. You've had a long few months, and now this.
How much are we being set back right now by the fact that this is happening and we've been on lockdown for 2 months, and literally this would have been the first weekend, for example, when people could have gone out to dinner in Los Angeles?
It should have been a weekend of celebration and of opening, but this was a sober reminder in Minneapolis of just how painful it is in America still. But we've gone through this. We're not a better city. We're a more resilient city, though, because long before George Floyd, there was Rodney King, before we even had camera phones. We had a Christopher Commission. We've hired a department that looks like this city. We've given everybody implicit bias training to get to the root of the prejudice all of us hold. De-escalation training, which I saw officers using last night in downtown with such courage. But this isn't just about policing. You cannot have a society that is about disorder, and you cannot have a society that casts people aside. We should be fighting COVID-19, celebrating our steps forward, and demanding justice for George Floyd and his family in Minneapolis and all Black men in America who have felt that sting. But this doesn't seem in any way to set that forward tonight, who we see left on the streets. And so we have to all, just as I've said during COVID-19, take on this responsibility ourselves. Those who would be on the streets have to know that they'll face consequences or step back. Those of us that want to know what we can do, it's not enough to condemn what we saw in Minneapolis. We have to work against it. And for the rest of us, that are looking around right now, it's not just words, it's the actions. And actions to fight racism speak volumes, but actions to destroy a business or a city speak volumes about who you are too, and we can't tolerate that.
It's unfortunate that it does take away from the story that we are trying to cover when the violence and the looting and the fires become a story. Mayor Garcetti, we really appreciate you taking time to speak with us tonight, and I know you're going to have a sleepless night, and hope everybody stays safe and pray for the best.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless Los Angeles.
You too. Yeah.
Keep right here on 85.5 RNB for LA.